Ever feel like everyone else has this money thing figured out and you're just, like, playing catch-up?
Yeah, it's easy to feel that way, for sure.
But that's why we're diving into the world of Scott Galloway today.
Oh, I like this one. Galloway's great.
He's got some, shall we say, interesting takes on how to build wealth.
Definitely. And he's not all sunshine and rainbows either. He's been rich 3 times, is how he puts it.
Yeah, 3 times rich, but also faced some major setbacks along the way.
Which makes his advice that much more, I don't know, believable, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just theory with him. He tells this one story about how he got started in investing when he was only 13.
13. Okay, gotta hear this.
Yeah, his mom's boyfriend, who apparently was a bit of a financial whiz, handed him $200 and was like, go figure out the stock market, kid.
No way. Talk about a crash course, right?
Right. But it speaks to this idea that Galloway's big on that while luck obviously plays a role, you don't just sit around waiting for it to find you.
You gotta make your own luck.
Exactly. Be proactive.
Yeah.
Seize those opportunities, even if they come with, little risk attached.
Because let's be honest, everything worthwhile usually involves some level of risk.
Okay, so being proactive. It sounds great in theory, but what are some actual steps listeners can take? I mean, not all of us have a stock market guru handing us cash at 13.
Well, Galloway's a huge advocate for mentorship, which doesn't have to be this formal, intimidating thing.
Right, not like you walk up to someone with a resume and say, will you be my mentor?
No, definitely not. It's more about building genuine connections with people you admire, people who've already walked the path you're on,
People who can offer guidance, maybe a different perspective,
and maybe give you that push you need to take a chance on something.
because it's easy to get stuck in our comfort zone.
Oh, for sure. But Galloway has this other interesting point. He talks about how life is finite. We all have a limited amount of time, which can be kind of a scary thought.
By the way, yeah.
But he uses it as motivation to go after what you want.
To not let fear hold you back.
Exactly. Like, don't be so afraid of rejection that you miss out on those hell yeah opportunities.
Embrace the uncertainty. I love that. So we're talking about being proactive, taking risks, and really going after what we want, which leads us perfectly into Galloway's Algebra of Wealth.
Algebra of wealth. Sounds intimidating, right? Like some complicated formula only Wall Street guys understand.
Right, but here's the thing. With Galloway, it's actually the opposite.
It's surprisingly straightforward.
It's really about breaking down these big, scary financial concepts into, like, manageable steps that anyone can use.
Okay, so walk us through it. What are the key ingredients in this algebra of wealth?
So he breaks it down into 5 main areas: focus, stoicism, savings, time, and diversification.
I'm already feeling smarter just hearing those words. But let's break them down, starting with focus. What's Galloway's take on that?
Well, he's all about going all in on a career that lets you, climb that ladder, reach those top earning tiers.
So, like, find that one thing and really commit to it. No side hustles until the main hustle is killing it. Pretty much. He really believes in concentrating your energy where it counts, at least initially. Don't spread yourself too thin.
Interesting. So you're laser focused on your career, moving up the ranks,
Yeah.
and then what? The stoicism part kicks in.
Exactly. Because let's face it, there are always going to be things you can't control, right? Market trashes, recessions, stuff happens,
The ups and downs of the economy.
right? But what you can control is how you react to those things. And more importantly, how you spend your money.
So stoicism in this case means living below your means.
In a nutshell, yeah. It's about finding joy in experiences and relationships, not just material possessions.
Easier said than done in our buy now, Instagram everything world, right?
Totally. But that's where the real discipline comes in. And that leads us to savings, which Galloway is a huge proponent of starting early. He uses this really cool visual with a bucket of sand.
Oh yeah, I've heard him talk about this.
He literally brings out a bucket and a little teaspoon of sand to show how even small, consistent contributions can add up over time, thanks to compound interest.
Time being the operative word here.
Absolutely. Time is your best friend when it comes to building wealth.
It's like he always says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is
Today. Exactly. And to make saving even easier, he suggests looking for those forced savings methods.
like employer matching programs for retirement accounts.
Exactly. Or those apps that round up your purchases and invest the difference. Anything to make it automatic so you're not even tempted to spend it.
It's like tricking yourself into saving. I love it. What happens when you do start building up some wealth? That's where diversification comes in, right?
You got it. And Galloway's analogy for this one is pretty hilarious. He calls it Kevlar for your mental health.
Kevlar for your mental health. Okay, I need to hear more about this.
So it's basically the idea of not putting all your eggs in one basket. You want to spread your wealth around, invest in different things so that if one area takes a hit, your entire portfolio doesn't go down with it.
It's like having a safety net for your money.
Exactly. And that peace of mind, that's the Kevlar he's talking about. It protects you from those emotional roller coasters that can come with investing.
So we've got focus, stoicism, savings, time, and diversification. These are the pillars of Galloway's algebra of wealth.
The core principles that can help anyone build a more secure financial future.
But what about those of us who aren't starting out with a trust fund, who are working what Galloway calls normal jobs, but dreaming bigger? How do these principles apply to them? It's like that saying, right? It's not about timing the market, it's about...
Time in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, Galloway's big on that.
And he doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. He's got this other quote that's kind of stuck with me. Nothing wonderful is going to happen to you inside of your home on a screen.
Ouch, that one hits home a little too hard sometimes.
Right. But he's got a point. It's easy to get caught up in the digital world and forget to actually, well, live.
Totally. And that's where building wealth ties into this bigger idea of living a fulfilling life.
Which is interesting because he also talks about how important strong relationships are, especially marriage. You don't always hear that in financial advice.
No, you really don't. But he sees it as this partnership where you're both working towards those shared goals, supporting each other.
And let's be real, having someone to celebrate the wins with makes it all the sweeter.
Absolutely. And those inevitable bumps in the road, they're a lot easier to handle when you've got someone in your corner.
Totally. It's like that emotional support system is just as important as your financial strategy.
For sure. And two heads are often better than one when it comes to making those big financial decisions.
Bouncing ideas off each other, keeping each other in check.
Accountability is huge. And speaking of accountability, Galloway's really big on taking action. He always says, "Life has gone slowly," said no one ever.
Oof, that's a good one. Time waits for no one.
Exactly. So don't put off till tomorrow what you can start today, whether it's investing, saving, whatever your financial goal is.
The best time was yesterday. The second best time is now. So that wraps up our deep dive into the algebra of wealth with Scott Galloway. We've covered his personal story, his 5 key principles, and even touched on some unexpected topics like relationships and, of course, taxes.
And how to avoid paying them. Legally, of course.
Right, gotta love those tax loopholes. But seriously, if you're listening to this thinking, okay, but where do I even begin?
Start small. Pick one thing from this deep dive that resonated with you and just take that first step.
Exactly. Set up that automatic savings plan, reach out to a potential mentor, just do something.
Because life, as they say, is a journey, not a destination.
And building wealth is all about making choices that align with your values and goals. So go out there, make it happen, and until next time, happy investing.